The movie theater tragedy and the recent wildfires can require a lifetime of healing.
It's not just, the victims or their friends or the immediate family. It may be all of us who may need help from time to time. Many of you have been watching with us. You watch the story unfold, and you may just need some help coping. So we've asked our medical expert, Dr. Diane McAllister, to tackle this subject for us today. It's an important one, something we should keep in mind. Let's talk about those emotional responses we may have when we see these kinds of things. What would you consider a normal response when we see this bad news?
The range of normal responses is really wide. And so in a physical sense, you can experience crying, you can experience tremors, sleeplessness, feeling like your stomach's upset, or just feeling out of sorts. In an emotional sense, you can range anywhere from a feeling of relief that it's over to sleepless, insomnia, reliving the incident, sadness, grief, and people even feel shame and guilt that they didn't somehow prevent it, the unpreventable.
And even those who aren't really close to the situation and who survived can feel those same feelings of guilt. What can we do to help other people?
Well, as far as helping other people, it is really important to remember that there's no right way or wrong way to respond to an incident like this. So give people space to have the feelings that they're having. Being a source to listen to them when they're ready to talk, and being willing to let them not talk when they're not ready to talk is important. Practical things like bringing people groceries or just helping them around the house can be extremely comforting. And then be a friend for the long haul, because a grief process can take a year or even longer. Some of it's years and years for some of these people, and being willing to allow them to have time to heal and to be there for them is extremely helpful.
So to talk a little bit about time, because if you're saying, okay, you may be a little restless, we may feel a little down, we may have a little headache, and think, oh, I know why, because I'm thinking of this. How long is normal for that kind of thing to go on?
Well, this is dependent on, obviously, how close you were to it.
Sure.
But if people need to get help, you should see improvement over time. So if 6 weeks from now you're still having the same level of anxiety or sleeplessness that you're having now, it's time to go and get help. Also, if currently this is interfering with your relationships, with your jobs, if you can't function, you need to go and get professional help, because there are things that can be done to help you process through this in a way that helps you heal more rapidly. And then certainly, sometimes people get feeling suicidal after events like this. If you're feeling that way, you need to go immediately and get help, because it's a sign that you're in great distress.
Are there some simpler things that we can do? Let's say we don't have really over-the-top symptoms like suicide and thoughts of suicide, that sort of thing. Are there some things that we can do to really take better care of ourselves in the immediate aftermath of this event?
Absolutely. And the way I would summarize it is to be kinder and gentler to yourself and to those around you. So first of all, accept your feelings. Whatever you're feeling, it's normal to have emotions in response to this, and allow yourself to have those emotions. Unfortunately, with emotions, the only way to the other side is through them and not avoiding them. Secondly, take good physical care of yourself. Get plenty of sleep. Have a good diet. Get yourself in a routine. And then seek comfort from people you trust. So if you have a faith community, reach out to them. Seek support from your family and friends. And remember to tell people what you need, because they're not going to be able to guess what's going to be helpful to you. And then the final thing is, as we reach out and help others, it restores our sense of power in our ability to heal, and it gives us a feeling of control, and it's very good for the people around. And when tragic things happen, hate does not help us get better. It's expressing caring that helps us heal, both individually and as a community.
Speaking of expressing, I always think of the children of all ages. When something like this, I remember my kids seemed like they were wrestling a little bit with Columbine, with 9/11. Yes. How do you deal with that as a parent? Should you ask them to share? What's the proper thing to do?
Well, with children, the first thing to do is to minimize their exposure to media events, exposure to all of us, because they relive it as though it's happening again. Secondly, it's a good thing to say sometimes when people are in a situation like this, they feel sad or angry. Have you ever felt that way? And just open the door, because sometimes children want to protect us as parents from their emotions. They don't want to make us feel worse than we might be feeling.
I have to say, this is such an enormous event, but the hospitals performed so masterfully. How do hospitals, you're medical director of a major metropolitan hospital, how do hospitals prepare and train for an event like this?
Well, you know, just in June we had a major citywide drill, and the nice thing is that we work as a community. We may be from different systems, but we work as a community to practice a disaster happening. And we can practice one disaster, and it allows us to triage patients to the right hospitals, to move other patients off home or wherever, so that we can take care of the acutely injured. And we work with EMS to make sure that they know which hospitals have capacity and are ready to take patients.
So there's a disaster plan essentially in place, ready to
Yes.
go.
And we even send people to like Anniston, Alabama to learn training from the national experts.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Very good to know. Dr. Diane, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Well, we always enjoy hearing from Dr. Diane, and you can check back on her weekly advice. You'll find it. We list it on the denverchannel.com. Just click on the Staying Healthy tab, which you'll find there, very conveniently located.